Welcome to Inside the 18. I'm Michael Magid, live from Los Angeles, California. With me is 99 World Cup winner Saskia Weber. Instagram super.
Nothing right now.
usually that's the biggest announcement. And then we kind of joke around that Omar's a big deal on Instagram, as you know him as ProGK Academy _. But today we literally have a living legend on the show. I mean, this is absolutely unreal. Like when we were doing the promos, we just put soccer legend. We didn't have to put anything else. We didn't have to mention any sort of other accomplishments other than that. We have legendary goal scoring machine Michelle Akers on Inside the 18. This is pretty awesome. Yeah, we're not worthy. We're honestly not worthy.
Listen, you gain legend status by being over 50, so that's how it works.
I got one more year. Not that I'm going to be a legend, but hey, Michelle's here, so you guys know, is because we were talking the other week, and she was talking so much smack about goalkeepers. I was like, that's it, you're coming on.
Nothing changes, Saskia.
Ever.
That's awesome. No, I'm Michelle, because inside the 18, it's for goal scorers as well. It's the same terminology. So I was like, okay, this will be wonderful. I cannot. Thanks. I'm so excited.
See, we're going to basically have a virtual goalkeeper striker camp is what we're going to do right now on the air. Yep. Yeah. I'm completely stealing that from Saskia. By the way, I'm starting to say Saskia because I hear Franz's Hook's voice in my head every single time. Saskia. By the way, before we get into this whole episode, guys, because this is going to be a lot of fun, Michelle, why don't you kind of catch up some of the audience here who might be familiar with what you've been up to since you've left the game, how you've stayed involved with the game, and kind of honestly, the horse rescue is just absolutely phenomenal what you're doing with that.
Thanks. What have I been doing since I've retired? Well, it was a long time ago. First of all. I became a mom. So I got a 15-year-old son. God help me. He got his permit and, we almost ran into 3 tractor trailers today on the road. So I'm still recovering. And I have stayed involved with soccer, done camps and clinics and, various appearances and things. But my greatest love, aside from my son, who's, he can go either way these days, but I'm just kidding. Is my horse rescue. I've been doing that since 2007, I think it is. Mm-hmm. And so I have a horse rescue. I rescue horses and, I've goats. I've had a pig, dogs, cats. So
drop them off.
Kind of, right? And gosh, if I see them, I'm like, I'm one of those. So that's been being a mom, and then taking care of these animals or trying to find home for animals that need it. That's what I do all day long. In fact, I had to come in and change clothes and look like I wasn't like left out in the barn for 3 days before I come to talk to you.
No, I know. I mean, right now you look like you literally could be out on the field scoring goals again. I mean, like we're just.
She always looks like that.
If you saw me moving, that might be different.
Yeah, you've had some issues with the barn over the years. Some flooding and stuff like that, but the U.S. team has come in to help, and it's been amazing, right?
We first moved up here. It's near Atlanta, Georgia, and it was this millennial epic flooding. So it was like 40 inches of rain in a night, and so the whole area had flooded, and none of my guys died. Everybody made it, but we lost everything, and it was devastating, but at the same time, I was just so happy that everyone was okay, considering there was just loss everywhere around me. So, but Tony DeChico, the U.S. team, so many people, just random soccer players, kids, parents, fans, sent in $1. Like I'd get $1 with a picture drawn of horses from some kid, and it was like I couldn't even spend it. It was so precious. So over the years, it took me 10 years to rebuild. I just I think 2 years ago got the last of it done, but it took me that long. And all thanks to, 80% soccer people, the soccer family, and my US team. And it's just been an amazing journey.
That's what's been so awesome, just in regards to, and we always joke about the goalkeeper union here in regards to how tight knit it is, but it's just awesome just to see the soccer community in general is just so tight knit in here, like that. I think the one thing that I've been seeing as I'm seeing Omar right here is I was just hoping that Omar could find a picture of himself horseback riding, because that would really complete.
I just love that. Who's that on the ground in that photo?
Oh my God, I got to put my glasses on to see
Birta Hexted? Who is that?
I don't think you could see her
in
face.
The German human?
Yeah. I love that picture. That is so funny. Right? Those are the pictures that are like, that's a keeper.
Yeah, it's a while ago too, because you're in Adidas.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
91 World Cup. Yeah. That's super sad when they're laying on the ground like that behind you.
Omar's never been in that position before, right?
No, but I definitely would have nightmares if Michelle and I ever played against each other. I just, man, your aerial presence is unbelievable. I think, I don't know how you time your header so well.
Thank you. I practice all the time. I practice.
Yes, she did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, if you saw me, you'd be like, God, can she even jump over that piece of grass? What in the world?
So let's get into this. Today's episode, basically, guys, we're going to be talking about recognizing strikers' tendencies and visual cues. Michelle's not going to give away too many secrets. I know she's got a certain pact with the striker community where she can only give away so much information.
Good. I'm good with.
Oh, you're good. Yeah. Okay.
Totally.
Okay. So the statute of limitations is over. Like you can say everything you want now. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, Michelle. So first off, starting with you, basically from a striker standpoint, from a finisher standpoint, what is kind of a tendency in your mind?
As a goal scorer, what are goal scorer tendencies? Well, that's easy. Smashing it as hard as you can. If you're not sure. Which is a lot of the opportunities. You're not sure, so you just blast it as hard as you can in the general direction of the trying to get it on frame, right? You think, if you shoot, you might score. So that's one of them, blasting it. Another is a lot of misconceptions. Actually, as a goal scorer, is to shoot high. Got to go for those high corners. When actually that is not the case. Another tendency is to, not be prepared. So I wrote down some notes, but it's to not be prepared. So most of the time it's just going to either be a half chance power shot, or they're going to look high, or it's not going to be on frame. So in those instances and those natural kind of tendencies, and they're going to choose their strong foot, probably inside of the foot or instep. With those natural tendencies, goalkeepers kind of have the advantage.
So
I think
have
we been overthinking this for way too long?
I mean, I think honestly, you know what? Look, Omar does 45-minute breakdowns on what the player is thinking in that moment and what the goalkeeper needs to do. And Michelle just comes on here. She's like, "Yeah, I just try to hit it as hard as possible."
No, I was saying that's a common tendency. Like I say,
no, I'm kidding.
The great goalkeepers. This is like the people when the goal scorer tendency, like right. Most players, if you look and watch what they do, that's kind of what they do. But the great goal scorers, it's an art, right? And you're so true. It's studying every detail, and I can break down. I love that. Like you guys break it all down, and I love the discussion, and because to be a great goal scorer, you have to know where you are around the goal. What percentages are the best opportunities to take on where you are, what kind of ball you're receiving, or where the goalkeeper is, and where's the goalkeeper positioned relative to you, the defenders, and other opportunities you can create by taking another touch. So I broke down and trained every tiny scenario, and that's why I was able to score so many goals. I just practice.
Yeah, and it's funny because like we tell goalkeeper, like what we want is for a forward to to kind of panic and just try to kick it as hard as you
Yeah.
can. Because what's going to happen for us as goalkeepers, it's going to end up in our bubble. Okay, it's going to end up in an area. It's going to be a little bit lifted off the ground, which is our greatest saving area. We don't want to have to go down to the ground. We don't have to go too high. Keep it in this area, and we're going to get something.
Yeah.
You know, and those are bad tendencies in a sense. Like, I get it. Look, if you have the power, yes, you can blow a keeper into the back of the net, but a lot of times that ball is going to end up in our bubble, and that's where we want it.
Yeah. So Omar, how can goalkeepers kind of recognize these in real time? Because I think that's one of the honestly the hardest things. And Michelle, you're talking about the speed of play, cracking as hard as possible and stuff like that. When the speed of play is so high in real time, it's very difficult, especially for younger goalkeepers when they're still starting to understand the game, to recognize these little tendencies. So Omar, I know you do like to do a lot of slow motion work with your younger keepers to kind of so they really get a good picture.
Yeah, no, I think so. Two things I'll say. One is that I've had young goalkeepers who have told me, hey, we love working on the bubble, but can we do a lot more shot stopping? And I say, okay, I obviously want to work on your technique, but they're like, well, we don't see enough shots in our training sessions that are going to test us enough where, you're coming around a dummy or you're receiving a bouncing pass as a striker, which would be me as a coach, and they don't see the right timing because they've never seen those shots in practice.
Yeah.
So they want me to continuously do actual shot stopping where they finish one rep, they get back up, they reset themselves, and they come again. So that muscle memory and their ability to react to those touches is, being sharpened every single session. So that's one thing I would say is that hopefully with coaches, maybe in sessions, continuously give your goalkeepers different looks. And once they get to a game, like we talked about with Michelle, about different tendencies, that ball is coming from a bouncing area over their shoulder. They may hit it first time and they may hit it off one or bounce, or they may, bring it down and dribble at your defender. And in training, can we replicate those situations where our goalkeeper now knows, okay, let me go through my progressions. The ball just came over her shoulder. It might be first time shot, so I have to be set. Okay, it took one bounce. Can I advance myself even more? Okay, she just actually brought it down. It's coming at my defender. Can I create some depth now to give myself more time to react? So I think all those things need to be, as us coaches, need to really try and simulate those in training so our goalkeepers can pick up on those tendencies. And the last thing I'll say is I actually played against this kid. I was 14. And
I thought you were going to say I actually played against Michelle like years ago and didn't realize, when you were...
No, I think if there's like a male version of Michelle Akers, I would say Carlos Puyol. Just the headers, unbelievably uncanny. If you look at his goal against Germany, I think in the semifinal of the World Cup, and you look at some of Michelle's goals, literally identical. And the hair too. I don't want to get to that part, but they're identical in terms of headers and timing. But the other thing is I played against this kid, and he shot a PK against me. He opened his hips up, and I was like, oh, I've seen this a million times. He's going to go to my left. Easy. He shot it across my body. And then I walked up to him. I'm like, dude, you showed me you were going to go there. Like, you got lucky. And he said, did I get lucky or did I show you that I was going to go there? And I went the opposite way. And once he said that to me, I was only 14. But when he said it to me, I was like, oh my God, there's actual mind games that are being played with the strikers and the goalkeepers. And I can't have a specific answer for one. You know what I'm saying? It has to be a variety of options in those moments.
Yeah. No, I think you just brought up a really, really good point in regards to that. And it's funny, Michelle, before we started, Saskia and I, we were discussing the fact that you need to have realistic shots. You have to, if you have access to players, you need to use players. Use players as much as possible, because again, they're like you. They're thinking score. They're not thinking like, oh, where can I place the ball so that goalkeeper's going to have a great touch to the ball so that then like I can give them a high five afterwards and be so excited about how they've progressed.
Yeah,
like,
they're
no,
not
you want
training the keeper.
Exactly.
Yeah, right.
Like
Exactly.
Michelle and I would train together, and I'm training for me, and she's training for her. And I learned like eye over the ball, man on your shooting foot. I learned that from you. Like, I did. Because I was on the opposite end of it, and I wasn't the one making sure my eye was over the ball and landing on my shooting foot and following through. I was the one on the end of it. Yeah. But I learned that by watching and being a part of that. And you were focused on what you were doing, and I'm focusing on what I was doing. But yeah, you can't get your goalkeepers into this training mindset that they're out to train the keeper. You know, like when I have the UCLA players out, I'm training the forwards to shoot properly too. I will say to them at some point, if I'm warming up the keepers, I'll say, warm up the keepers, keep it in their bubble. Like I'll say that. And I'll say, I want you to control your shots right now, which works for them as well. They have to be able to control your shots. Yeah. I'm like, I need
for the field players, because that was some of my funnest and most challenging stuff is when we, you know, I'd come out and train with you guys and Tony's, okay, Mish, hit them to, you know, 5 inches to their right in this specific area. And then I'm like, whoa. So, I mean, that was so helpful because then you know, that was a challenge for me. Can I put that in the exact spot? And it's a simulation of scoring goals, but the goal is to train the goalkeeper. So I love that.
But at the same time, it's making you so technically sound. If I can tell you, Mish, I want all these balls to the upper lower right, all like 2 yards away from the keeper, on point with this pace, and repetition for you is on point. You're training the keeper because I'm asking you to do that, but at the same time, you're training your technique, and then we'll open it up. Like, you know,
I literally never thought about that before. That's so awesome. That is so awesome. And Michelle, that's got to be, it's the same thing as like Omar was talking about, you know, one of the ways he became, you know, the best striker in the world, you know, to go with a callback from a joke earlier, was running goalkeeper sessions. When he retired from playing and he became a goalkeeper coach, he noticed how much better his placement got, how much better his striking got. And then he would play in games as a field player. And he's like, oh, I became a number 9. How did this happen? All of a sudden.
I know. I'll never forget. I was at practice and a service came across and I was standing up there with Kelly Smith and we're watching and this pill comes across and the kid missed it. And I went like this and I struck, like I did this strike and nailed it into the lower 9, like on purpose. And I was like, it's all from coaching. I was like, this is amazing.
Tony used to be like that. It was like boom, 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 boom. Just exact spot every time. It was amazing.
Yeah.
Michelle, I have a question for you. So as a goal scorer, what are you reading from the goalkeeper? Like what attributes does the finisher look at from the goalkeeper?
So,
let's go with 1v1s. 1v1s. I think if we can, as keepers, get from one of the greatest strikers ever, some tips on 1v1s, for God's sakes, these kids will love us.
This is hilarious because when I was a midfielder, and that's been my mentality. That's as a player, I just love midi and central mid. And so when I got pushed up top, I hated 1v1s. I hated, you know, just taking on and being so exposed and vulnerable and like having to make those decisions. So I had to, you know, train myself in that uncomfortable position. I just jumped in. I had like 3 and 4 guys I trained with all the time at University of Central Florida, and I made myself go, you know, take on until I just didn't care anymore. So I had to learn that mentality. It was really challenging. But as far as going 1v1 with a goalkeeper, look, you know, I never realized that I didn't have the mentality I'm about to say, which is gonna piss off all the goalkeepers of the world. But until I started training, and then I realized, oh my gosh, I can make them do what I want. So I know it sounds super cocky, but it's so true. Okay. So I can make them do what I want. So, you know, let's say, and I have more options than a goalkeeper does. So if I'm going one-on-one with a goalkeeper, my first touch, it depends on what the goalkeeper's doing. So if they're hesitant, I'm going to keep driving straight at them because I'm going to force them to make a move. And so that's my first thing. But if they're flying out at me, like the 91 World Cup in the final, the goalkeeper came rushing out and all I had to do was touch it past her, and I you know, had a good shot to finish. So I guess the first touch is right at the goalkeeper, make them make a decision, and then off of that, you know what to do because you've trained it. So you know your options. That to me is, I can usually take a touch and I know I'm opening up a bigger part of the goal. And they're going to be going their momentum will be going one way, and I'll easily finish on the ground past their back foot because they're already going this way just a tiny bit, or their feet are too close together. I've caught them mid stride. Things that you train for. And you can also tell if they're like crazy come out like a lion, or if they're like, shit, I'm not quite sure what to do. And then you've got them. You've got them.
But this is so funny because we think the same way about you guys.
Oh, no, it's so funny, and I actually want to pull this up right now
because we sit here going, "Oh, I'm going to manipulate her.
So,
yeah, I'm going to manipulate her. I'm going to come out a little bit, or I'm going to come out like a bull in a china shop, and then I'm going to slow down. I'm going to push her right. I'm going to push her left. Like that's what we're thinking. Meanwhile, you're just like, oh, those stupid.
Yeah, I'm like, okay, thank you, because I feel like I influenced the choice on that. So, and plus, right at the end of the day, doesn't it like matter like who's making the save or who's scoring the most, and then that's who's manipulating who? Maybe, I don't know.
So I want to pull this out right now because
did you just hear that, Mike?
No, I missed it.
Doesn't matter who's making the most saves or who's scoring the most, who's manipulating who.
I was too busy pulling up this.
I don't really have an argument for that. You're the greatest of all time.
Well, if you're shutting me down, you're obviously just, I am a loser at that point, and you're ruling over me. But if I'm scoring on you every time, it's like, okay, then.
So I want to get the opinion right here. So you were talking about goalkeepers coming out crazy, right? Saskia was talking, and I think Alyssa Nair may have listened to last week's episode, because look what happens here. Sam Mewis plays this great through ball to Kristen Hamilton. She's coming out. Look at Nair. She's in a higher position already, and she's already approaching. She comes out. Yeah. She comes out big like there, and that's literally, Saskia, what you were talking about last week. Exactly. That's what she had to do.
Because last week what happened was it wasn't Nair last week though, was it? But it was Nair. It was Nair. So she waited inside the 6, waited for this service, that ball, like Tony would talk. This is no man's land. That ball, nothing can happen with that ball. So the week before, she waited for her to get the touch and then approached, which I'm sure, Michelle, that's like, thank you. Thank you for letting me get that 25-yard pass, not changing your positioning at all. And now I have the ball at my feet. And instead, she closed the space. By the time the ball got to her feet, she's on top of her.
Well, I thought she messed the field player messed up. Because she should have, instead of, running along, she ran along the path of the ball. Instead, she should have cut into, so she eliminates those 2 players on the top of the box, and then she just rules the goalkeeper. But she kept, I couldn't tell if she couldn't catch up with it or if that was her choice to keep running along.
I think it was her choice to let it run across her body and let it run around.
So that, to me, she should have, because that would have eliminated the 2 defenders. She could have just had a field day there with that goalkeeper.
Because then the whole goal would have been open to her.
Yeah.
Michelle, quick question for you. When in the scouting reports, did you ever feel like when somebody said you're going to play a goalkeeper who's very aggressive, that there were going to be those opportunities like we just saw right there, where it's going to be a 50-50 in terms of through balls, and the goalkeeper is going to come out and completely just spread themselves on the 18, and all you'd have to do, like you said in the final. I think in the final it was a bad pass back, or it was a weird situation where I think, again, kind of backing it up, where if it's like a through ball, the goalkeeper comes out, are you almost like, okay, you're giving me the option to easily chip it over you or take a touch around you? Do you feel like when you've played goalkeepers do the opposite, where they kind of hold their line a little bit and then let you come into, it's almost like you're on this narrow pathway, 1v1, and everyone's watching to see it. So more pressure is on you versus now they're coming out 20 yards and all you have to do is dink it over them or dribble around them. Do you feel like one goalkeeper gave you less problems than the other?
Oh man, I always felt like the one who stood me up, the one who came out, but not fast. The ones who just charge out, that's kind of easy. And I was just meat and potatoes kind of player. I would never chip, right? That wasn't me.
That was Tish.
Yeah, Tish or Brandy. Oh my God,
Yeah.
guys are like, you know, me. I just was like meat and potatoes. I didn't have any moves or anything. I just, you know, I don't even know how I was so successful being so basic. But so the keepers who come out quickly, but then stand up and hold their ground and make the decision. Because just slowing me down, even mentally, for a second is maybe enough time for someone to come back to help them defend, right? So for me, that was the toughest. And the ones that stood on the line, it was kind of like, oh my gosh, she's not even coming out. And it was sort of like, huh, you know, you're like, what is she? Because that's not a normal thing, right? So,
Yeah.
So then you have to kind of like, you're stunned, and then you're like, okay, I got to keep going. And that's almost harder because it's not a normal reaction, I guess. But I remember playing against Paul Barron, a goalkeeper who played in England. I mean, amazing guy. And he would just stand you up, and you were like, what should I do? And he just stopped everything. That to me was brilliant.
I think you'll find, like, you obviously, you know, Tony DeChico's family for both of us. And so, like, that's how Brian and I were taught. Like, you know, was to come out, close the space, but then stand you up, force the forward to slow down and make the decision. Yeah. Number one, you're biding time, your defense is recovering, but number two, now you've thrown them off your game. Now it's like, okay, I've closed that space, so you can't beat me with pace, right? I'm not coming at you, you're not coming at me. But now, what are you gonna do? You know, you know, are you gonna take that long touch? Which I hope you're gonna take that long touch, because I'm waiting for that long touch. Yeah. You know, and the longer you make the decision, then you're totally messed up. And that's how we were taught. That was how we were taught to handle it. Yeah.
It's a chess match, honestly.
It is. Totally.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I was going to say that Omar, you know, you've obviously, you know, you've coined your phrase, you know, fast approach, slow arrival in regards to this. And I think this is that patience thing that a lot of young goalkeepers need to understand is, and Michelle's literally just stating it right there. Like, if you come out fast and you're not under control, like, that is what they want. That is what they want from you. And I want to pull this up right now because Bella Bixby is having a tournament and a half at the Challenge Cup right now. She's looking absolutely phenomenal for Portland. And I want to pull up this highlight right. Yeah.
Quick question for Saskia real quick.
Sorry.
No, you're good. I have a quick question for you. I know you were extremely athletic when you were playing. So I know a lot of young goalkeepers that are athletic, that's like their bread and butter. They've been told, hey, use your athleticism to you know, make an impact and make a play. And I think when you have all of that, I guess, athleticism, but then all that energy, and then the kind of like voices in your head are like, you need to use this. I think on 1v1s, a lot of goalkeepers feel the urge and the need to come off their line and make an impact with that athleticism. So that's what I'm saying. Like, can we?
This is why
can we harness that energy and use it elsewhere where it's more strategic? Like you said, more strategic. So for you, is that, go ahead.
I didn't like, and that's why I don't like that. That's why you hear me talking about that K-save and stuff like that. Like, kids are coming out and they're just trying to be athletic and they're trying to spread themselves, but they're not thinking. And so when I watch these breakdowns and stuff, why didn't you close that space? And if that person, if let's say it's Michelle on the other end of the ball, all right, I think this is a 50-50 ball. She's faster than me. She's going to beat me to that ball. What am I going to do? I'm going to slow down and I'm going to stand her up. If I thought I was going to, if it was 70-30, then guess what? I'm going through the ball and I make the save. If it's 50-50, we get there at the same time. But you have to be smart enough to make the decisions. You can't make the decision before you go. You can't say, I'm an athlete, I'm just going to go, and I'm going to make a K-save, because the situation changes. So, and I was taught by Tony and stuff to think. Like, I'm not just this, like, athlete running around flying all over the place. I have to take every situation for what it is, and make my decisions on the fly and in the situation.
Yeah, plus you want both. Like, you want,
absolutely.
Okay, sweet, you're super athletic and strong, but then you want to plug in the thinking to that, and that's what makes you great, right?
Yes,
absolutely. That's what makes you successful.
And I will say, I said one of my proudest things was to be an amazing athlete, but also to be a great technical goalkeeper. and tactical goalkeeper. And when I get that praise, like I'm like, look, and Bri was the same way. Like great athletes that were good technically and tactically.
Yeah.
And that's what you want. You want both. You have to have both.
And I would say too, I think, sorry, Mike, I know you want to get to this one last
no,
thing.
No worries, all good.
No, but I think I kind of want to bring back Michelle's like aerial presence and how good she was in the air. I think the athleticism and the thinking was so on point with what you did in terms of getting your body from point A to point B. And then once you got there, you needed to allow yourself to elevate. So if you were sprinting into something that's going backwards or like laterally, it's very, very hard if you don't slow your body down so you can get up and then use the technique. So I think for us goalkeepers, it's very similar for 1v1s where it's like the first two movements maybe are the biggest. And then from there, we get to see what's happening. And then we have to slow ourselves down so that we can apply the technique that we've been using. And I think that's where the headers, especially on from what I've seen from you, is like you got to your spot. And then from there to apply the technique that you've learned, you had to slow yourself up and then go up and attack the ball at the highest point.
Let's be honest. Michelle had hang time, man.
No, I did. I know. I wanted
had hang
but
time.
she used it. She used her gifts.
Even if you got there too early, you just like pause in the air. And then
that's because I was standing on all those defenders that were on trying to pull me down. My God. And also, Omar, to add to that, like, okay, so also as a striker, as a goal scorer, you know, like, okay, look, when you get to a certain point along the way, your options are changing all the time. And so it's not only the athleticism or the skill that you have, it's more like, okay, if I'm touching it to the left, this is what these are the three things the goalkeeper might do, and then you have three options based on if she's coming at you, if she's standing you up, if she stays there. And so you know that. So it's almost like you're checking off things, and then you know what to do almost before they happen. So you don't really have to think. So when we go back to what you were saying, and Saskia was saying about training these situations, like training the goalkeeper. So that's what I love so much about the functional training in the box. That's where all the goals happen. So you're training that as a goal scorer. I know I've seen it a million times, but then the goalkeepers also get the same experience, like you were saying, in the balls, and they know what choices and what things commonly happen in those situations. That's so helpful.
I think the thing that everybody watching and stuff, this isn't something that it naturally happened. Like I've been on the other end of Michelle. Like I've been the one in the goal. Repetition. Like I said, eye of the chest, whatever it's called, over the ball, like land on your shooting foot, like this, that, for this situation. Like I've been the one listening, and she practiced and practiced and practiced and practiced. Like we tell you guys, this isn't like, for some people to say everybody does. All the greats practice, believe it or not, you guys. So, and I was the goalkeeper in the goal for it. So,
it only makes you better.
No, I would even say too, I think to Saskia's point there, it's so important for us us goalkeepers to almost step into the field player mindset and even play on the field from time to time and play striker. Go into the finishing drills every once in a while and say, hey, national team level may be a little difficult because there's a lot of money at stake and you don't want anybody getting injured. But if you were to do with your team and say, hey, I want to, even with the goalkeeper training, say, hey, look, today, it's going to be a slow day for you, but I want you to be my striker. And from there, now the goalkeeper who is, cooling down or had a game yesterday, they're in the striker's position. They're, I guess, seeing things from the other perspective, and they're going, oh my God, you came out 100% and you leaned to your right so prematurely that I could easily put you across your body. Yeah. And so I think that is getting into that mindset and understanding the tendencies of a striker. And then you applying that, you go, oh my God, now I know exactly, like Michelle said, when a 1v1, if a goalkeeper just stays up, all those progressions that I just went through, there's still that last progression that I have no control over, and it's the goalkeeper standing up. So I think that's the beauty of playing the striker position. That's why we should encourage young goalkeepers to play at a young age so they can get that kind of striker's mentality as well.
Yeah, they have to know the game, right? They got to know the game. So it's true.
Mike has been waiting patiently there.
I've been waiting patiently here. I've just been really excited with Bella Bixby, but it's going into our entire topic. It's bringing everything together, actually, which is one of the things is that being too direct, not disguising any sort of run whatsoever. So the goalkeeper's very familiar with what's going on right now. Sanchez is going to play a great ball. So here, I'm just going to share this real quick with everyone so everyone can kind of see it. All right, so here we go. So, okay, so here, Sanchez is going to play this great ball. Boom, to Ashley Hatch. Okay, again, a direct run right at the ball. The goalkeeper knows exactly where that ball is going. Rather than charging crazy out like you're talking about, Michelle, it's a fast and then a slow arrival and stopped. So she covered her ground. She stopped, made a decision to stay. And because of that, she was able to take the quick step and push off and follow through like that, which is absolutely phenomenal in my opinion. That's a great save.
It is. And the other thing that's based on that is her defender. Like,
and that striker, that girl took a terrible shot, by the way. On the ground. Just on the ground in the corner. It's a goal.
I knew you were going to say that because you were talking about the top corner.
Look at this. What is she doing? Okay.
I don't think she's left-footed. It looks like she was.
Still, though, even more. Just pass it in the corner.
Just go ahead a little bit. I don't know if you can.
What is that?
So I thought if she struck it either near post on the ground or far post on the ground, but the goalkeeper is really in a good position and made her panic and shoot that ball and take a crappy shot. So if it was me, it would have been she slowed down a little bit to get that ball. If she had touched it a little bit to cut that defender off, and then the goalkeeper maybe would have had to shuffle.
Not to mention, if she cuts that defender off there, she might get the foul.
Yeah, exactly. She slowed
down. Might get the PK.
So if she had,
you cut that inside, you're clipped.
Like Mia Hamm, she was like a lightning, bolt. She would have just, and then she could have, got a PK. Maybe.
I love the sound effects. Yeah, she would have taken a touch. She would have utilized the fact the defender's coming back full speed.
Yes.
And it'll take a clip now you have a PK. So.
But that goalkeeper made that. That was really nice. She was good. I thought.
I think to that point though, I think we need to allow our defenders to do their job, and we need to give them the opportunity to do that. And I think a lot of times, like Saskia was saying, the goalkeepers come out and completely eliminate their defenders from having any impact on the play at all. And I think we need to allow our defenders they're getting paid as well, probably a little bit more than we are. So let them do their job, and then from there, once the striker,
they're recovering.
Exactly.
So
but
it's not like here comes a 1v1 and everybody said, all right, good luck, Sauce. I'm going to go get some water right now. Figure it out.
Yeah.
They're hauling ass back too.
Exactly. And then you need to allow your defenders to put pressure on the striker. And I think I've done so many breakdowns of goalkeepers who I think it's South American. I don't know so much about European, but I know South American goalkeepers have been told to come out. And I used to do drills where my uncle would have me rush out, literally dive on both of my knees and they call it Jesus Cristo, just like open myself up and just take a ball to the face, to the chest, everywhere. And then I got to the actual higher level and they were like, okay, you're completely defaulting. You're doing yourself a disservice here and your defenders can't even help you. So why don't you just stay up, let your defenders recover. In this situation, had the goalkeeper, I've seen it come out completely. The defender has no chance to even recover. And now they play good against like Suarez or Messi, chip it over you, hit it near post, slide it between your legs. So I think, we talk about that composure in those last few steps to like chop up your feet. Even as a striker too, Michelle, I know for a fact, I've had the situations when I've played forward, the ball is kind of played in front of me. I'm already thinking about what I'm going to do once I slow my body down and wrap my foot around this. So it's just like those composure moments prior to the final action are huge.
Yeah, huge.
I just think that I feel like Omar's taking like a webinar on like how to strike the ball, and he's just trying to get assurance from Michelle that like he's doing this right. It's like, yes, looking okay, good. I'm doing this.
I will say my last session, I had my goalkeepers do most of the shooting, and then probably towards the end, I was like, you know what, let me do the shooting, and I got a good workout out of it. But I was like, actually, I've had so many reps at it that I know there's even times where I took a big touch, which I knew it was going to be, I can make up that ground quick, but my goalkeepers saw a big touch. So like Saskia was saying, they've been taught to take 2 or 3 steps forward, but a smart striker, I'm not saying I'm a smart striker, but I know that they don't get set on time. I took a big touch to show them that, but then my stride was big enough where I could turn it into a small one. And I caught them moving multiple times across the goal, down the middle to the near post. And I'm like, guys, do you understand that I can sometimes show you a big touch? And it's going to be, it's going to look like a small one. And if you're not set, you're screwed. And they're like, well, we wanted to advance as much as we could. And we saw the big touch. I'm like, I know, but when you play it like better strikers, they're doing the exact same thing. They're watching the same film. Exactly. And like that's what like you guys were saying earlier is they're baiting you. And at the end of the day, whoever makes the most saves or scores the most goals, that's the person who wins that chess match.
I love that. That's like my favorite.
And also
my favorite
just
thing right
a
now.
look. Like if you're driving at goal and you just do a look, that pulls the goalkeeper over. Because even just this from a goalkeeper, like what is she looking at? You got her. Usually it's also a slight shift in weight to maybe compensate for what might be over there, but then you're like, boom, you got her. So it's all. And do you guys do that too? Like with those little like, haha, I got you on that.
Well,
one.
not really.
Little feints.
Yeah.
I don't like I would say I don't fake people. No.
Well, that's interesting. You brought that up in regards to the disguise because one of the things I think that happens a lot of times with goalkeepers, Michelle, is that they overthink the situation, and they're reading more into it than is actually happening.
Yeah, my stuff is always organized with what my defense is doing, where to push the person, the pace of the ball, and stuff like that. I'm not even on PKs. I'm not a faker. I rely on my athleticism, my reaction, and everything. And so once that breakaway is coming, or once somebody's, I've already, the situation it's organic and it's fluid as it is. It's based on the pace of the ball. It's based on the pace of the forward coming at me at that point. What position my defense had pushed them into? Are they wide right? Are they wide left? Are they coming straight center? What do I want to do? So that's fluid in a sense.
Yeah. Speaking of fluid, we have an opposite this time where instead of Saskia having to leave early, Omar has to leave early today.
I do. So, I'm so sorry.
No worries, man. Is there anything before we go, Omar? Is there anything else you want to add on to the conversation as Michelle, Saskia, and I continue on?
All I'm gonna say is we need to have some shelter or something for Michelle when all of her strikers and friends who are strikers are gonna reach out to her and say, "Why are you giving up all the sauce and the secrets?" So we're gonna have to put you in a bunker. We're gonna have to put you somewhere until this kind of mulls over a little bit.
We're gonna have to send her on vacation somewhere.
Oh boy.
Why are you giving up all the secrets?
No, but I do appreciate it. You are a living legend, and I mean, needless to say, the men's team has not been as good as the women's team for as long as you guys have been. So obviously I love winners, and I've been watching you play. I mean, I'm born in 92, so I can't say the 91 World Cup. But thanks to YouTube, I've seen a lot of that content. And then the 99 World Cup, and you guys are absolutely amazing. And hopefully we can come have you on here again.
Yeah, let's do it again. Thanks, Omar. I enjoyed it.
Likewise. Well, you guys continue. I gotta go.
We're gonna continue.
We got a little more time here.
We got a little more time. Michelle, I got a question for you here. One of the things that happens a lot of times with younger goalkeeper coaches is that they telling their players, their goalkeepers, to force the players wide. Force them wide. Then I was speaking to, some striker coaches and some field player coaches, and they say, you're basically giving them more service options by doing that, and more space to work. So what advice do you give to goalkeepers who are trying to funnel players one direction or another? And another thing is to say, players are just so darn good today, you really can't funnel them one way or another because they can cut back immediately, right?
Yeah, that's what. So are you saying the goalkeeper is trying to
basically what happens is a lot of times, Michelle, if somebody's coming down, let's say they're coming down like center, right flank, but more center, and you have your outside back, you'll be like, push them. Keepers will be like, push him wide, push him to try to push him to a line. Now, and I know that it depends on your pressure cover balance in that situation. If you have the cover and that, force them in the cover. So if you've got somebody here, why wouldn't you force them into a two-man cover, then force them wide and let them blow by you outside and cut inside?
Yeah, that's right. That's what I was saying. Yes and no, right? It depends on the situation, the player, the other attacking players coming, the position of those. What is your defense like? Are you down numbers? Where are those players? I think it's like one of those Anson Dorrance ambiguous answers when he goes, experience dictates, and you just want to go, You know, just, God.
Wait, it's just vague and
right
and then
now.
you just have to figure it out. You have to figure it out.
Yes. So, you know, Carla Overbeck, we'd be in the middle of halftime. Okay, blah, blah, blah. She's describing the situation, and there's, you know, this girl's coming down here, and then this girl, and then blah blah. And then
look who's here.
And then Anson's like, well, experience dictates. And then
She's talking.
Sally.
She's talking about Anson Darren's ambiguous answers.
Yeah.
Me.
For those of you guys who may not know it, we just had it. UCLA head coach Amanda Cromwell just pop on inside the 18. This is what they call a Zoom bomb in the world world today.
She's giving away all the questions goalkeepers need for forwards.
I know, but it's not going to help you. Okay, still going to get scored on. I'm just saying.
They don't all shoot like you, Michelle.
Oh my God!
Let's throw Amanda right into the mix right here. Let's have her put her coaching hat on right now. It's not like she doesn't have to do that all the time.
Let me tell you a story about Michelle's shot. There's a game called Team Trains the Goalkeeper.
Oh yes, there is.
And I'm one of the defenders, one of the two defenders in there with the goalkeeper. Like we're like, all right, trying to get no goals. We're gonna be like tough as nails. There's an arc of people around playing balls in. There's 3 attackers in the box, and then there's a shooter up top. Well, I was lucky enough to have Akers as the shooter up top when I was a defender in there. And the goalkeepers like for you to pinch in a little bit to make the goal a little bit smaller for them. And you know, we don't rush the shot because that would be a silly thing to do with Akers shooting. But it's just suicide. But we do try to pinch in. Well, Michelle, like, she didn't hammer this her normal hammer. She was going for the nice strong bending, which she still has a lot of weight behind. So she was trying to bend one in, and I stuck my noggin out, and it hit the side of my head, like right around my temple, and I went flat. Like it took me out, like knocked me out instantly. Fell to the ground.
Oh my God!
Everybody ran in, and like I was opened my eyes pretty quick, and I was like, "What just happened?" I just remember Carla Overbeck says, "Sal, I heard your brain squish." So that was from Michelle's shot. And
Oh boy.
I was trying to help the goalkeepers out, but
no,
did not advise.
Okay, I was like, you should have moved your head. Why did you put your head there?
It was dumb.
It was a bad choice.
Because I had the lingering axe over me.
But you also get caught up in that drill, and that drill gets a little chaotic, and you're like, ah! Well, at least that's how I am. I love that drill. It's crazy because I'm a goalkeeper.
It's great. Well, in case you haven't noticed, Sal has a 5'10" head on a 5'8" body, so that was probably why it got in the way.
Yes, it is a large noggin. So that's what saved me from being probably concussed. I probably was concussed, but back then we didn't know if we were concussed or not. No one cared.
I mean, just shake it off.
I mean, it is these stories. I mean, honestly, I could just sit here quietly and just listen to all these stories. I mean, you know, one thing I do want to ask you too, in regards to when set piece situations. Okay, I think a lot of the times what happens, at least with a lot of young goalkeepers, is they overthink the situation. So in your minds, when you're in a set piece situation, let's say you're playing a dangerous ball in. All right, so you can put your midfield hat on, Michelle, for this one, and you can serve it into Amanda. How about that? So we can do it that way instead. Yes. Okay, so you're serving the ball over the wall into a dangerous ball area around the 6 or whatever. And I see so many goalkeepers, and they're trying to figure out, well, what are they going to try to do? Where are they going to try to do with the ball? You guys are really, in all honesty, you guys are just looking just to redirect that ball towards a corner, right?
On frame. Just get in on frame. You know, with the head ball down and on frame, and then everyone's rushing to follow up for the rebounds. So that would be my strategy.
Yeah.
The 6 wouldn't scare me very much. I mean, I think the worst one for me was probably around the 12, like right bending in on top between the 12 and the 6, like that.
Also a little higher up.
Yeah, the 6 for me, because of my what I would expect from better goalkeepers is their range, and they should be able to cover that. But that ball bending in between the 6 and the 12, closer to the 12, it's more like dipping down. There's nothing you can do, and everybody's running at you.
Yeah.
Did you see the goal the Rain scored this morning? It wasn't a free kick, but it was a nice bent ball in. It's just like we were talking about. It was like curving in towards the keeper, right on top of the 6 a little bit.
I know exactly the one you're talking about, the one they scored on Barney.
Is that the diving header?
No, it wasn't. It was just she just redirected it down low, and it was
nice.
Yeah,
it was hard.
But it was right in that little pocket area, that shoulder to the thigh kind of area where it's very difficult. And Barney did get a touch to the ball. She did get something on it, just not enough to redirect the ball because it came in so quickly like that. Shout out to Barney, by the way. She had a pretty solid game. So that was an unfortunate. And Michelle Betos actually had an incredible, pretty solid game for the Rain too, right there.
I want more secrets.
You want more secrets, more striking secrets. Okay, so let's talk about watching film. Okay, so I know Saskia loves meetings, loves watching film.
Shh, my boss is on.
I didn't say anything sarcastic. I didn't say anything sarcastic.
She knows that, though.
I know. Look, if I didn't know the relationship if I didn't know the relationship you guys had, do you think I would say that? Come on, let's be honest. But in reality, Omar brought up a really good point. Hey, goalkeepers, when you guys are watching this film, the strikers are watching the exact same film. It's not like they're watching different film. So kind of what advice do you guys give goalkeepers when they're watching film on the opposing strikers that maybe isn't necessarily coming from their goalkeeper coach, things that maybe more of a striker's going to pick up? Whoever wants to take that.
Sal, you can go first.
Yeah, I mean, we talk about tendencies of that player, like obviously strong foot, like where do they like to shoot early? Some players want to take on, some players just want to just crush it if they have an opening. Are they trying to get just a little bit of space, and are they very opportunistic and don't look for separation necessarily? They're going to take one just with a half step. So those kind of things are the players. What are their tendencies in taking shots? And then are they looking to combine to get closer? Are they looking to slip someone, like draw someone out to slip somebody in? So you gotta read all of the cues on that.
Right. Yeah. And I would say, like Christine Lilly, she used to like this one shot. I was like, oh my God, this is a goal, just because it was her favorite place. Running across the goal with her left foot and would be back post. So she'd be sucking the keeper over and then boom, left footed every time. And so, know their favorite place. They like the location and the foot, the surface of the foot. So inside, outside, instep. And some players really like Amanda was saying, like to take on and then shoot. But then there was players like Mia Hamm who would, they might have a chance to shoot, but then they would find somebody in a seam. And so know that those kinds of players are also looking for seams, and that they're dangerous in finding people with an open goal, because you've been sucked into looking at that, prolific goal scorer. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, you guys, I always joke with Saskia about this, the head exploding moments. Me as a novice field player, high level goalkeeper, but novice field player. I never would even think about the fact, because in my head, I'm thinking well, I always want separation. Why would you not want to have separation? That sounds insane to me. But that's such a really good point. Some players, they do better when they're under pressure. Than when they have more time.
And it too much space to think.
It disguises the shot too, because if you're marked, I was marked by 1, 2, 3 players sometimes, which was my advantage. I felt, because I was shooting through a crowd, or they're standing there and I'm taking a shot. It's like they're a wall. So by the time it gets past the player, it's like it's too.
The keeper can't see it.
For the keeper, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. It was a great opportunity.
And we didn't think that you guys thought like this.
No.
We're like, wait, you guys actually think about this stuff? I thought We were the ones overthinking everything.
Well, Michelle was just saying earlier, you guys just hit the ball really hard. I was like, oh, okay, cool.
You know,
All right, and that's all the time
just-
on Inside the 18. We figured it out, guys.
Blasted it in the back of the net and scene.
if you're digging it out from back there, it obviously works sometimes. Right?
If I was a goalkeeper in the pro league, I would tell everyone to keep Ashley Sanchez left. She will not shoot it left with her left foot.
Right.
She keeps on cutting inside. So if I'm a keeper and she's playing on the left side too, cut inside. But if I'm going to be like, let her go in line and then just expect the cross. If I'm a keeper and that defender lets her back onto her right foot, I'm going to freak out.
You're going to rip them, right?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You're going to rip them. I was just watching one of the EPL games that somebody did that and let what's his name back onto his left foot and inside into the goal. But yeah, but those are things that at the same time, Ashley Sanchez and her coach and those guys stop being so predictable in a sense.
Right.
You know, but no, and those are things we think about as well. Goalkeepers do. I just like, you know, Michelle attributed herself to blue collar.
Yeah.
She was just like,
I was, but I mean, my mentality was too. I mean, I worked hard.
Yeah.
My mentality was do the most simple things perfectly under the greatest amount of pressure. And that, I mean, that's how I played. So, like I was saying, like I didn't have moves. I didn't do anything fancy. I just.
She goes, I didn't chip. I wasn't Brandy and Tish. I didn't chip you guys.
I just was like, okay, I'm shooting it on the ground, you know, 1,000,000 miles an hour into this one spot, and that is how it's meat and potatoes, right? It's basic stuff.
Yeah.
I want to bring up this because, you know, one of the things that I always try to talk to with young goalkeepers is that all the pressure's on the player with the final action, you know, the finisher, you know, everyone's expecting them to score, you know, so really all the pressure is. So I always try to tell the young goalkeepers that all this basically the power that you're giving to them, you know, that you're creating that in your head, because in reality, in their head, they're thinking, I need to score. Is that true, or am I thinking wrong here?
The player shooting has to make the goalkeeper make a save, right? And we used to always say, get it on frame, but as a goal scorer, it's more than that, right? They're taking into account all this information and then choosing the best surface, the best pace of ball into the best location into the goal. Okay, so, but if you're looking at the goal, that striker still has to make the goalkeeper make a save. And that is difficult, you know, under all that pressure. It's difficult, but it's not, because I don't think the goalkeepers can stop an educated and skilled player.
Wait.
Oh, that's awesome.
Wait, then why isn't the game 10-0? Why, or 10-10?
Wait. But again, what we go back to is the conversation of, if you have the educated goalkeeper at the same time, they are going to slow you down and throw you off your rhythm. So you have to all of a sudden make.
Yeah. Okay. And you should have 1 million players around you, right, Saskia?
Right.
It's not just the the person shooting the ball. So you should be organizing your defense to you know, defend your goal, and then you're defending the goal based on where your defense is. Well, at the same time, the striker is going, okay, well, she's pushed. These players are here, and here's my openings, and I'm picking and choosing. So it's so fun, like, because you guys think you're so smart, and yet I think I know I am so smart. So I think that's hilarious.
You guys are definitely smarter than us.
Amanda, you missed it. Michelle's like, yeah, but who's picking the ball up out of the back of the net more than who's scoring, who's winning this situation? I'm like, oh my god.
Oh my god. But it's so fun I think it's great. I love the discussion, and I think both sides have to have that mentality. It's right. Nothing's wrong with that. I think both sides have to have that, because you have to believe and take initiative and be in control of the situation to force the shot you want. And then on the other side, the goalkeeper is doing the same thing. So it's
right. We hope.
yeah, it's exciting to like, I would love to, the video that you've shown, I would love to have a conversation with the goalkeeper and several of the defenders and the goal scorer and the person with the assist.
The one that she saved the ball, because
you're talking about the Bella.
Yeah.
So Amanda, she was referring to Bella Bixby save against was it Washington? Wait, who did Portland play?
Here's what's funny about that, Amanda. When you watch it, it was a through ball that came through, and she came out. She didn't come rushing out. She just stole enough space, stood her up. Defender was tracking back. Now, I swear to God, if it was just goalkeepers on this thing, we've been like, great save, we close the space and stuff like that. I think she held herself because she saw the pressure from the defender. Never in a million years would I have said, oh, the smart thing would have been to do as an attacker was cut it inside, because number one, you would have gotten the PK because of the pace that the defender was tracking back. Right. And that's the first thing you said. You said this is a horrible shot, and good on the keeper for forcing it, but bad on the attacker for not realizing all you have to do is take that quick touch inside. Now you have a PK, or you've opened the whole goal up to yourself.
Yeah.
So it's not every day that we have a high level coach like Amanda on here. So so I want to bring this back. Yeah, it's the Sanchez to Hatch.
It's a nice
right
ball.
there.
Great ball.
So she holds, the goalkeeper comes to the top of the six and holds, which is good because of the pace of her defense coming back. But Michelle was like, the attacker just failed here.
I would agree.
Like, she slowed down. Like, to me, she slowed down because she saw the goalkeeper and she's like, okay, I got to shoot it. But she should have kept driving, take that touch driving to the center to cut that defender off behind her, draw the PK, or she didn't draw the PK, then she's got the whole goal open to herself. Or she's got to try a near post or back post on the ground shot. So it was just I thought it was a bad shot.
Yeah.
Amanda just took her glasses off, so this is going to get serious now. So.
And it's also in our bubble. So like we talked about, like go ahead.
And that was a great
ball.
save too.
It's still a great save.
It was a great save. Yeah.
Good save, and I think the defender, like the attacking player, kind of lets the defender off the hook by not taking a touch. The defender's like, oh, thank God, because if she had taken a good touch, the defender would have been like, she would have had to control her body in such a way that not foul her. That would have been difficult from the angle. So I think the touch would have been the smart thing. There was another through ball against Caitlin Rowland, who plays for the Courage.
Yeah.
I can't remember who the attacking player was. It may have been Utah. Was it Utah? And Caitlin stood up and kind of stood her ground. Wasn't a great shot either. And I can't remember what the attacking player should have done in that instance.
Yeah, that's actually a really good point that I'd never even really thought about before. And one thing I love about is like when we start showing these clips is start reading things that you even notice in real time, or even when you're just watching the game in passing type of a thing. And when we try to break things down from a goalkeeping standpoint, and the more and more we've been doing this show, the more and more we've understood how it's not about just breaking it down from a goalkeeping standpoint. It's breaking down the play from a coaching standpoint, because that's how you're going to benefit your goalkeeper the most.
Like the build up where your defense is, the pressure, the pace of the ball, everything. Absolutely.
Exactly.
I'm like so humbled right now. I'm sitting here just like
it's so funny because usually we joke, it's like 99 World Cup winners, Saskia.
I'm like, whatever, just don't even I got Mitch, I got Amanda on. I'm just like, I don't even have to say anything. This is awesome.
And I'm
so glad I saw it. I almost missed it. I was charging my phone and went in my office to get some work done, and I came out and I was like, oh no, what time is it? I was all worried I missed it. I'm so glad. Thanks for the invite.
Absolutely.
No. Are you kidding me? We'd love to have you on.
I told you last week that she was talking so much smack that she was going on the show.
I know.
She was talking so much smack.
I'm so
She's
excited.
like, I'm going to school you keepers.
I mean, Amanda, we're doing a lot of Challenge Cup coverage. If you ever want to come on once we get to the knockout rounds and do some analysis and stuff, we'd love Absolutely love to have you.
Especially from a non-goalkeeper perspective.
That's what we love to have. Like next week we have Jordan Angeli from the Athletic and MLS Assist, who's going to come on and talk about the knockout rounds with us. And I think it's really important for goalkeepers and goalkeeper coaches who watch this show to hear things from people that aren't just goalkeeper people, and that's all they do. It's only going to make you stronger if you understand the game better. With that being said, though, why the heck do you guys not want to be goalkeepers since all of us want to be forwards? I don't understand that. What's wrong with you people? Why don't you want to get in the nets? Why do you get run away?
I think Amanda doesn't want to get hit in the head again.
I sucked as a goalkeeper, all right?
I
can't tell you.
And Cody thinks all goalkeepers suck, apparently.
No, he just said you. Yeah, he did say that, but he said to tell you that. So I don't
tell
know.
him I love him anyway.
He loves you. Oh my God.
Cody can't shoot a basket. You need to show that.
No, he can't.
It's so bad.
Well, okay, it's hilarious because he made one that was like from so far away, and it was like swish, and I was like, get out, Cody. So I was like, do it again, and then it was like he couldn't even hit the side of a house.
You gotta walk away when you do it. You gotta walk away.
Yes.
To be like, Mom, why do I have to do it again? Like, you just saw it. What?
Yes, exactly. Oh my gosh, but yeah. But
it's like those people that they just walk off the field. They hit that, hit the crossbar, and they just walk off the field, right?
Drop the mic. That's the end of it.
It's so true. Oh my God.
I always love it though. Like whenever like a team, like especially at the youth levels, like when they lose their goalkeeper and they have a tournament and they're like, well, we need to, you're tall, here, get in the goal. And it's usually like some forward. He's like, I don't want to do this. He's like, I don't know. You're athletic. Go in there. Get in there. And then Saskia always says, they usually end up doing fine.
Which totally
it's so annoying because it's like
the concept of why I'm a goalkeeper coach. I'm just like,
you're like, well, if you just throw an athlete in there and they can just do it, like, what's the point?
Because they don't overthink it. Because they don't overthink it.
Yeah,
sometimes that's okay.
No, thank you.
No, thank you. I can't even do it against the little kids. I'm horrible.
I would rather be a ice hockey goalkeeper.
Yeah.
Oh, with all the padding?
Yes.
And the helmet?
Yes.
And the tiny goal.
It's a tiny, really hard puck, too.
Yeah, it's a really hard puck. And it's really hard to stop.
Hey, Rich, tell them about the time we went to that minor league team in Orlando and skated around a bit with them.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, what? Oh, the
Solar
Bears. The Solar
Bears. I remember that team.
Yeah.
Minor league hockey. We got to put on all the pads and skated around. We were so bad.
I ran fitness with these guys, these ice hockey players. And it was in Orlando, Florida. Okay, they were white as can be, of course, because they're in, on the ice all the time. And so I'd go up to them and be like, my gosh, you guys need to get a little sun here. They would kill me in fitness because they were so dang quick.
Ice hockey, forget it.
And then I would beat them in other things, but God, they were just so strong. So they said, hey, why don't you guys come and skate around? And so, my gosh, we put on our
helmets were like falling all over the place, and like they weren't snapped in. I remember going to Michelle and snapping in her helmet, right? Like,
did you guys have contact, or you just had contact with your butt on the ice?
We started doing like 3v3s or whatever, and the guy came over and hit the stick out of my hand, just fooling around, but like what they did to each other.
And they would just, you'd be standing there, not trying to fall and look stupid, and they would just skate right up to you and go like a bee. They were so fast, and then I would be like, and then I'd fall down. They were amazing. Their athleticism and stuff they could do.
Saskia, I was asked the question once a long time ago. We were doing like the challenge at Rutgers, like in the gym. Like the sport I thought like encompassed like the most like full athlete, and I was like, everybody's like, I said ice hockey because, at that level, eye-hand coordination, agility, speed, endurance, like coordination, it's just ridiculous. And those guys, they're the size of NFL football players on ice.
Yeah.
And have you ever tried to skate up and back like a couple times? It's exhausting.
Yeah, it's hard.
That's why they have the lines. That's why they have the shift
they're
changes.
They're getting hit into the wall, and they're supposed to control a puck. It's just those guys are unbelievable.
Yeah.
By the way, nothing says minor league hockey like Solar Bears. The play on words just oh my gosh, that's amazing. Like we need to
I need a Solar Bears hat or something.
Okay, what and I'm not gonna put anyone on blast here or whatever, but like, how does everybody feel about us in the United States now, and everything has to be FC or United, or can't we make a Solar Bears? Can't they be the Louisville Solar Bears? Why can't they be the Louisville Solar Bears?
Like the California Mudcats, or whatever. All those minor league baseball cool little names.
Yeah.
The Warthogs. Something catchy like that.
all we need to do, have NWSL and MLS just hire ASO kids to be the marketing people, and we'll have the best nicknames ever. All right, guys, we're going to start wrapping up right here. My fan, I've had it off for the last hour, and Saskia, now I feel your pain. It is
my fan and my mic, whatever. I got my new Dyson one, so that's like a little quieter.
Oh wow, you're big time.
That is
That's
fancy.
because she's a goalkeeper. She's big.
Before we go, Michelle, if anybody else out there, they want to know more about what you're doing in regards to the horse rescue, where's the best place for them to reach out to you?
Oh, my website, awesome. MichelleAkers.org or Instagram, and I have dyslexia, so I always forget. I think it's Michelle Akers Official. Or it could be official Michelle Akers.
I think it's official Michelle Akers. I'm dyslexic too, so don't rely on us. Maybe Amanda knows. It's official Michelle Akers. I'm pretty sure.
Okay, I'm always posting pictures of all my guys, and anyway, I'm like one of those people who takes too many pictures of their animals and puts them up all the time.
We got some cool ones that you sent us too, so we're going to get those ones out there too, and because I really think it's a great cause.
I mean, my gosh, that's we're always in need of cash. That's what saves animals and helps me be able to take care of these guys. So thank you for considering it. Thank you for
we'll keep running it on the site and everything. Absolutely.
Yeah, we'll post it all in the show notes and stuff like that. And if anybody wants to know, send you some remarks on why UCLA is so much better than USC, where's the best place for people to reach out to you?
They can follow me on Insta. That's I think it's Coach Cromwell.
It is. Oh my God.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's Coach Cromwell.
Twitter, UCLABruins.com. There's a lot of different.
UCLA women's soccer.
Never heard of the school, never heard of the program. What are you talking about?
It's awesome. I just can't wait to get back on the field.
We're we're really, 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 really excited. I mean, all we talk about on the show is just how excited we are to the season to come back on. And just on a personal note, Amanda, Saskia speaks so highly of you on the show all the time to everybody and the program. So we're really excited for the new season.
Way to make up for that other comment. Good job. About the meetings. Good job. Thanks, Mike.
At Saskia_Weber on Instagram. Contact at inside, that's the number 18media.com if you have a guest suggestion or a topic suggestion. If you're also one of the greatest goal scorers of all time, you can just reach out to us and ask to come on the show. It works that way as well too.
And shout out to Franz Hook, because I know you were watching.
Shout out to Franz Hook for Saskia Weber's pronunciation.
Yeah. Franz, we had Franz on the show like 2 weeks ago.
We had Franz. Actually, somebody just wrote just today about that episode and said, this is the greatest goalkeeper interview I've ever heard. Wow. Yeah, there's a lot.
It was fun.
And they didn't mention who it was who made it the greatest goalkeeper interview that they ever heard.
We just sat there. It was like being in class. We were all just sitting there. He was just teaching us. We're scared to say anything.
Oh, my gosh, guys. At Goalkeeper Podcast on all social media platforms. That's all the time on Inside the 18.
Love you. Amanda, see you tomorrow.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
We are out. Later.
Bye, guys.
Bye.